So here we are in the final. Possibly a lopsided final. There's Blue Red has at least won the die roll. But 3-time PD500 winner, the Watch Wonder, on purportedly the favoured deck. Definitely the favourite, I guess.
Malcolm is a big deal here, though.
I mean, Malcolm is a clock, but he's not really the kind of clock that stops the opponents. I guess you can sculpt your counterspell hand so that when they end step turnabout you counter it, and you still have mana and a counter to counter the high tide or the next turnabout. Yeah, I mean, both players now going to spend a few turns sculpting their hands, and one player is going to take 2 damage each time it happens. So, yeah, a lot better than not having a Malcolm, I guess.
Well, I know it seems far off, but actually casting things with 4 chorus counters could happen pretty easily in this matchup as well.
Yeah, getting a Chrome Host Sheetshark into play without having to tap out of your interaction or digging through time for free for, the cards that really matter. Definitely real.
Yeah.
Definitely real.
And you can get rid of the dead cards in the matchup.
Yeah.
You have like
I mean, this Galvanic Discharge has gone. This unnecessary Mountain has gone. One thing that's slightly interesting about this is that the more islands you get in play, kind of the better it is, because you can maybe let a high tide resolve and fight over the untappers with all your extra mana and things. I don't know quite how much that matters. Discards an island, making a mockery of my ideas. Taps 2 islands, making a double mockery of my ideas. Shows how much I know. Nothing. Lets the Sheetshark resolve after thinking about doing something in response.
Yeah, but they kind of have to let the high tide resolve, because invert polarity high tide is kind of...
Doesn't really do anything. So
it's like
somehow Watch Wonder is strategic planning enough that he's able to turn 4 dig for 2 mana. I feel like that's almost cheating in itself in this cantripless, ponderless, thought-scourless wasteland that we live in, but he managed it. 8 cards in hand, 5 islands. So Sapphire Medallion. I know, high tiding. We're hidden stringsing, so we're kind of going natural without a high tide, maybe.
It looks like Mind's Desire soon.
Yeah. So now we. Oh, he tapped 2 lands. Very nice. So I guess it wouldn't have mattered if we'd left up islands. And we're doing a no high tide, but my cost reducer makes my turnabouts make mana. Mind's Desire for 7 maybe? Or 8? And we get 8?
Oh, what a crazy hand. Like 6 untappers or something?
6 untappers and a Mind's Desire and a cost reducer is
It's
definitely...
probably gonna be enough.
It seems really likely, although not the greatest of hits, a bunch of just dig, but you just dig for a high tide, then...
But I think...
Yeah, no, this is just crazy, actually, yeah. So they're easily going to be able to go off here. There's also dig through time exiled. So, yeah, I guess this is game 1.
The thing is, Flipperblind is interesting. Does the Sheetshark for like 1 turn earlier matter that much that you like tap your lands unnecessary?
It's really hard, right, though, because you have to clock, because otherwise they sculpt some perfect 7. I mean, you made them go for it without a high tide, but I guess, I don't know, they just had. And here's Mind's Desire for almost the entire rest of their library, including a memory, so they can recycle here, and there's just essentially no way that they haven't easily won. I don't actually know what the win is. Are we just going to generate a ton of mana and Fae of Wishes away, granted for a
for like
draw
Blue
X?
Sun Zenith, I guess.
Yeah.
He moved Blue Sun to Zenith all 4 of his kills.
Okay.
So I played him twice.
Okay. I mean, he essentially at this point has infinite mana and access to the entire deck, so it's not really...
And the sideboard.
It doesn't really matter what they do or what the kill is. Opponent is tapped out. There's no meaningful 0 mana interaction in the deck, so just a question of...
Yeah, and they have stuff like Mind's Desire, so they can get anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely no clock problem or anything, so it's just really... I mean, I guess you could choose to draw with an empty library and fuck yourself up that way, but I don't think Watch Wanderer is going to do that.
No, I think they're gonna kill them as soon as they can.
Yeah. So that's access to every card in the deck now, and the ability to recycle the deck if that were needed, which it definitely isn't. Island's currently tapped.
So they're probably not gonna do that then, right?
Island's currently tapped for 6, 7, 4, I don't know, some large number. 36 mana, turnabout.
I do agree with your assessment, though, that the Seed Shark seemed out of place. They must have had like no counter spells in their hand to play it just one turn early instead of playing it off the Malcolm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because it's probably not gonna impact the clock too much.
And I wonder
And then,
if
then probably
Watch with his
Wanderer
sort
also
of
doesn't go
dubious untapper's hand would have even gone for it, yeah, into so much more mana. Interesting. So I just blew Sun Zenithing for 2 extra. Well, 1 extra, I guess, over a kill. Just
Yeah,
for,
but you don't need more.
you know, just safety. Doesn't it J Mecca that says a safety storm? You know, go to 11
safety
storm,
storm is
10
big,
storm
yes.
before your tendrils. Or
To play around what's in this format, like
Snapback. I don't know. Upkeep. Put something on top of my library somehow. Upkeep.
but
Cast
you
a
don't
spell.
have
Memory
that
lapse it.
upkeep.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're not passing the turn letting you draw to death. We're just killing you right now. Okay. Well, the Watch Wanderer is, I'd say, 1 win away from an unprecedented 4th, but the 3rd is also unprecedented. So you know, how unprecedented can a thing get? Which are deep into ridiculous territory here. But Garcia Edu gonna sideboard in a bunch of gainsays and see what they can do to stop this nonsense before it really gets out of hand. This is back-to-back 500s as well, right? If Watch wins. So really,
Did they do that before, or is that also unprecedented?
that is newly unprecedented, as opposed to even more unprecedented, like most of their other behavior. Cycles Lonely Sandbar, a sign of extreme strength. Sapphire Medallion, best possible turn 2.
And it resolves.
And it resolves, but end of turn, abrade it. Okay.
Oh,
We're fighting.
That makes sense.
We are fighting. Yeah, aabsolutely. I mean, abrade has essentially no other targets. Maybe there's one-off Boral in this list. I don't know. Some people are playing that.
I think they're probably on barrels, but I don't know if these are for this matchup. Because you don't want to go fast here, you just want to go protected.
I mean, Garcia Edu is making land drops, has 2 islands in play, which I do think does matter a little bit. You know, lets you multi-spell in the big fighty turn, potentially. No Malcolm, no pressure of any kind, so just hoping to stop you. 2 forbids, 2 gainsays, 4 invert polarity, 4 ether spike. You know, and unless you're going to count repeal, that's probably all the relevant cards. So with that, they've got to stop a bunch of high
Well,
tides.
some of their creatures are relevant. Like some flesh threats are also like relevant if they.
Well, what I mean is relevant in terms of stopping, you know, stopping high tide doing the high tide thing. But yes, of course, if you deploy 7 power of creatures, then the window in which you have to stop them is smaller. But this is not that. This is not that game. This is, I've got a bunch of answers, you've got a bunch of stuff, and Watch is just not being hurried here, making every land drop to turn 7.
They probably just wait until like Garcia Edu does something.
Yeah, so there's no point in going with less than the 7 perfects if you're under absolutely no pressure, presumably. Here is...
It's like 8 perfects, because you also get to draw the card.
So here is a small amount of pressure which Watch is prepared to commit into just to kind of have more turns. Now, Watch did miss a land drop last turn, right? Which probably doesn't matter at all at 8 islands.
That's 3 island.
Oh no, am I wrong? They have made every land drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, they missed 1 land drop. Can't get an island with a piece of lips, but I don't know if you need more than 7 islands, do you? Like, is there any once you poke a high tide through?
I think
7 is way more.
Well, maybe.
Garcia tapped his islands here again, which I'm not in favour of. Just
no, I don't understand why you would. Yeah, usually you tap your like
non-island lands. I mean, I think in general in Magic, right? You tap your basics over your duels, but not in this. Not against high tide.
No.
Okay,
but that's
so
also then you don't need to fight about high tide itself, because then you have more interaction.
Right, yeah. So you'd fight over the untappers, maybe. So
depends on the scenario. Usually,
but I don't think it makes. Oh.
So this is interesting, but it does kind of tap us out if we don't win the flip, right?
Yeah, they do when they can untap their own lands as opposed to tapping their opponents.
They lost the flip for the first time in human history, and we may be about to see the 4th Penny Dreadful 500 victory. Oh! Something happened? Oh no, he just tapped on yet another land to make it absolutely certain. Plenty of mana. Memory in the bin. First of all, Mind's Desire for 7. Seeing another Mind's Desire, which you always want to see off your Mind's Desire as a general rule. And I think a dig. Just going for the Mind's Desire again right away. Just pretty confident that we have.
They're like 100% sure that they have to win here.
And they've hit another Mind's Desire, so they now essentially have access to pretty much their whole library.
They already didn't trust like anything.
So yeah, just
before,
an insane set of cards available to cast for free. 7 cards in hand. Islands tapped for 5.
Infinite mana and their entire deck.
Play a Teferi in case there's a snapback or a I don't know what it could be. Some free interact. Force of Will has been snuck into the deck lists just for the final. Now turned off by Teferi. This is yeah, I mean, we said that perhaps Tide was pretty strongly favoured here because Blue-Red couldn't put on enough pressure nor stop all the kind of turnabout you end of turn nonsense, and I think so it has proved. I mean, excellently played by Watch, who found a win with no high tide in game 1. Let's not take away from that. But that was crazy. 6. I've got 6 untappers. Let me tap you, and then untap myself 5 times, and then
and then just win.
Yeah. I mean, this obviously is a win. Just a question of clicking the buttons.
Every time the Izzet player taps mana during their own turn.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you know, it's the exact scenario we talked about. You know, play 7 lands, play some sort of cantrippy things to sculpt the perfect hand, wait for any kind of sign of weakness whatsoever, and then totally obliterate you in a way that's just completely disgusting, frankly.
Yeah.
Something that helped high tide a lot this season was Lurrus being legal. Like, I saw a lot of the human lists weren't playing Sanctum Prelates.
Right, because you want your late game against the Wrath decks or whatever you want, and therefore you can't play your hoses.
Prelate is actually pretty good against the red decks as well.
True.
Yeah.
Actually,
although you have to name 2 and 4, which is awkward. Anyway.
More annoying than Lurrus, actually, because the red decks were playing Gaia Skull, which made Lurrus less.
Is really good against Tide, because if you name 4, most Tide decks can't win before...
Unless they exploit the bug.
4. Specifically 4.
Right, because
that's what I've...
4 takes care of commit and they granted from Fey Wishes, and all they
and then they only have like the 1 mana and the creature loses all abilities, right?
No, I'm talking about before board.
Oh yeah.
in paper, it also would stop repeal on relays.
Only in paper?
There's a bug with Magic Online where spells that specify target permanent with a mana value of X aren't stopped by Sanctum Prelate when they should be. There's a bug that your opponent can exploit.
Your opponent can exploit?
You can repeal a Sanctum Prelate on